Hey guys, happy Sunday. Thanks for stopping by for another episode here at All I See is W, where we talk about stocks, crypto, and finance. In today's video, I'd like to share with you latest updates on one of the hottest stocks right now. That is Opendoor Technologies, ticker Open. Why am I so bullish on Open? What are going to be the price predictions of Opendoor as we look at, the upcoming week, the rest of 2025. And when we scale out from a long-term perspective, how high can Opendoor really go? Is this going to be like the next Carvana stock where the stock price goes into double digits, triple digits? We'll go through all of those details. But if you're new to this channel, if you're part of the Open Army team, I would really appreciate you hitting a like, subscribing for more related content. Let's begin, guys. Let's first off take a look at this post from Eric Jackson. He's saying open to $82. We're looking at a quick clip of Saving Private Ryan, one of my favorite movies. But you know what? It's only the beginning. Open door to 82. We have a big use case right now. Open Door Army is getting bigger, stronger, and louder right now. Heisenberg poses, go to the US Open, buy front row seats, have a sign that says open. Make sure you get on national TV with it. That is hilarious. Definitely that can come. Eric Jackson, posts, it's a talk of the US Open this year. So, one of the visuals we have here from the Open Army is Open is going to revolutionize the real estate industry. And it's coming, guys. It's really coming. Eric Jackson has a post, even better. We have, the lovely image, US Open, with someone having a white sign of Open Door Technologies. Folks will be like, what is that anyways? But, as people start talking about it, people are going to realize Opendoor is a company that's revolutionizing real estate, similar to Carvana. Mike posts breaking information on Open, 13F filing. Qube Research Technologies, a $28 billion fund, initiated a massive brand new position on Open with over 12 million shares of Opendoor Technologies. What does that mean? Financial institutions are getting interested. Are we going to have like BlackRock and Fidelity start buying Opendoor? The fact that there's so much volume traded, they're one of the top three stocks right behind, Nvidia and Tesla. That just shows that financial institutions are going to be interested as well. Stock Playmaker lists a number of stocks. He's saying stocks that can run 50 to 100% next week or has continued momentum. We got Opendoor Technologies as the number one stock on his list that has potential to do like a 1x from here on out next week. Professor also posts about open doors, so he's very bullish. He's saying open, when it starts with the bang, it ends with the boom. Second consolidation underway. No need to guess the targets. Just look at the chart. What are we seeing right now while he's, drawing out, you know, ultimately a consolidation in the early phase of September. But what he has forecasted is, price targets reaching up into like, the $8 range in the month of September. So he's bullish that we're going to have like a 1x in the upcoming weeks, very similar to my forecast as well. I posted yesterday. Open wants $10. It's coming as the global open army is getting bigger, stronger, and louder, led by Open General Stevio. I would give him a follow. You can find him, 8-bit Stevio, definitely very bullish on Open. I call him the Open General. When we look at the technicals, which we will cover more, I see the upside. We're going to get to double digits. It's only a matter of time. It's not if, it's when. Be more bullish. Eric Jackson, he has a pinned comment on his X. Also give him a follow if you haven't already done so. Back in 2023, when Carvana was at like $9, it even dropped to like $3.50. Eric, emailed Ernie Garcia, part of the Carvana team, and Ernie actually wrote back to Eric, a few weeks ago. And a few weeks ago, Carvana is in the triple digits. I mean, this stock went from like, basement low, $3 and now it's in the triple digits, $400. People are using Carvana to buy and sell cars. Eventually, open door technologies can be that, similar business model in the real estate sector. And, that sector can be very stressful as well. So there's, a lot of people who would really prefer just buying their homes, selling their homes online, ease of use. Carvana was just as special at $3.50, $9.42 as it is now, like all of us. So, what does that mean? As we scale out, Carvana can, yes, it can get to that $82, like what Eric is forecasting, but he's also forecasting that, he's bumping up his use case in this post just recently. $82 was the original 2028 target on July 14 at 2 p.m. But now I see that more clearly. I've upped that to $500 by 2029. So that's coming from a question out of curiosity. Why is the limit 82 when we're talking about the largest market in the world? So that's why Eric is posting, it's going to have that similar trajectory as to what we've seen with Carvana. Let's pivot over to technical analysis. So first off, let's take a look at Carvana in terms of how it moved. Back in 2017, I mean, this was like hovering, in the low single digits. And, it started growing like, 2 years later in 2021, it got to $376. It started dropping, after the COVID time, along with 2022 being a very bad time for Wall Street. It reached a basement low of like 33 cents back in January 2023. 33 cents, similar to, what we're seeing now. And then April 2023, it climbed from like, $3 to $4. And since then, look at the power in Carvana. It went from like sub $1 all the way to $419. I definitely do think that we're gonna see open door technologies have a similar trajectory. An application that sells cars, well, an application that sells homes, the catalyst can be even more remarkable. So as we look at open door technologies on the near term, we don't have much data points, but as we, just look at the current, price performance from like July through August and soon to be entering September, are we going to start seeing what Open Door can do similar to what Carvana has done? I think that is the use case we should really model. We're seeing a cup and handle formation similar to Professor's post. I am forecasting sometime in September we're gonna get to that psychological barrier close to that $10 range. We're seeing that cup and handle formation. Yes, we may have consolidation at this handle position. The cup has already formed. We have support at $4 last week. Wednesday, I drew out this support at $4. Thursday, Friday, it bounced up. So it's only a matter of time where we're consolidating and we're going to have that next leg up, especially with the Fibonacci, the Gann square. We're seeing a lot of use case right now, market sentiment, OBV volumes increasing for those reasons. Price is going to push up, and I think there's going to be huge FOMO retail that kicks in, which drives the price up into the double digits. And at one point, once we get to double digits, it'll correct a bit. It gets above $10, it'll correct around $8, consolidate there before that next leg up into the mid-range double digits on the near term to midterm in the year 2025. But as we scale out, we'll talk about the use case then. I'll provide more additional updates on the near term. That's what I'm seeing right now. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, I would really appreciate you smashing the like, subscribing, turning on the bell notification, sharing this video to others as well. I really appreciate your time. Thanks, guys. Take care.